Oftentimes, if you ask a high school student who their representative or senator is, you'll get a blank expression followed by an "I don't know." I mean, how many high schoolers are concerned with whether or not the economy is doing well, or if there's an adequate healthcare system in place? Many students honestly have no reason to care about what's going on in the government. But after the recent Valentine's Day massacre of 17 students at a high school in Florida, we've seen huge numbers of high schoolers wanting to get their voices heard and impacting the future of this country. This burst of activism really makes you think, what kind of a political voice do students really have? I first sat down with Kendall Smith, the Lieutenant Governor of the Pacific Northwest Junior Statesmen of America chapter. As a student political leader, she told me a little bit about her experience and beliefs. What does a student's political voice mean to you?
So what it means to me is first of all, being engaged in what's happening around you, having a knowledge of, what's happening in our government, what's happening in our world, because I think that that's really important, and I think that being engaged and knowing and having some sort of idea of what's going on around you really makes it so you're more educated as a citizen and you're more just like involved in the nation as a whole. And like if you want to see a change in the government, like speaking to your congressman about it, going to rallies around the state that promote this change. Like not only are you have an idea of what's happening, but you go out of your way to ensure that your voice is heard and that you try and make the changes that you want to see in the U.S. and the world.
Next, I spoke with the superintendent of the Issaquah School District, Ron Thiele. With over 30 years of experience in education, Ron has seen it all when it comes to students and politics. He shared some of his views.
When somebody tells you, if you're 16 years old, that your opinion doesn't really matter, I would respectfully disagree with that. I think it does matter. I think we need to hear the voices of young people. You're certainly the future. So, to me, that just doesn't make a lot of sense. I was a former civics teacher. I had high school students working on presidential campaigns, local initiative campaigns. I encourage them to do that.
Regardless of your age, it really doesn't matter. Because I think that however young, however old you are, whatever your age may be, you still have a voice. And if you have a way that you want to use that voice, then you have a way to use it, basically. But I definitely think that people who say that high schoolers are way too young, I definitely disagree with that, because although we might not be able to vote, the world that we have today and what's happening in the world today, that's our generation. That's a generation that we're gonna have to live in when we're adults. So I think that saying oh, we're too young and we don't have a way to stand up for what we believe in, that's not true. This is the world that we're gonna have to live in. So I think more than anyone, we are actually the ones who have the strongest voice, because we're the ones going out there and trying to make change for ourselves.